This is Out Loud and Laughing.
Hola, John.
Shalom. Hello. How are you?
I'm working on my Spanish.
I'm just feeling really global right now. I feel like we need more inclusivity. I'm going to start all my salutations with different languages from now on.
Yeah, as we should. Our life should always be It's a Small World.
Konnichiwa.
How many can you get through in this episode?
I think if I knew that was a goal, I would have stretched them out a little longer. I think I've just exhausted them all. What's going on? How are you doing?
Oh, what's going on? I know I was texting you yesterday. I have obviously had a little more time. It's been a busy couple of months, as you can attest to, but I did a whole overhaul of all the kids' stuff, toys, books, everything. They're 4 and 5 now, so I got rid of anything that was 3 and under. It felt so good. And more importantly, I taught them that, because they were sad at first that some of their toys were gone, but I said, listen, I donated them for other kids who don't have any toys. And so they were happy that they were able to give their toys to kids who don't have them.
Oh, this is really great. Before we move on, I'm just curious. We kept the little pink Minnie Mouse airplane bike.
There's a little girl out there that just got that as a gift.
All right, I'm going to need to just take a second. Oh, gosh. How did
It's
the
so
kids...
funny because, well, it's interesting because since they have the toys, they'll play with them, but none of it's constructive. They just like play with it for a second and throw it out because it's not really for them. So like, if we would leave them in the basement to play, it would just be because there was just too much down there, right?
Yeah.
So it was just important just to kind of like up level it, use it more of a space where they can play like constructively organized. Like I'm a very type A person. Like I bought little bins that have zippers on it. So like even all these action figures are organized by like, roster of character. There's Peppa.
Wow.
There's the Paw Patrol. So like last night we went down there. You want to play with Paw Patrol? I said, great. You grab that one. When you're done, you put them all back in. You zipper it back up, and you put it back and you play with another toy. And so it was actually organized chaos. It actually worked out nicely.
Your mom was not a kindergarten teacher for 40 years if you do not organize your action figures by cast of characters, Brian. Your type A is definitely showing.
My type A, when it comes to organization, honestly helps with my dad energy and like keeps me grounded. And like, because if not, my energy is not the happiest of energies.
That's so interesting you bring that up because like I just keep wanting to ask like how did the kids react, and I think like my uncle energy is coming forward, so like I'm just trying to be like, do I need to come up there right now? Like I'm happy to come save your children from the chaos. No, I'm just kidding. How big were the reactions? Like what? There's this dynamic of like dad energy versus my energy when we're together, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, my energy is probably like no, later, did you brush your teeth? And then John's energy is more like yes, more, who wants ice cream for breakfast kind of energy,
Who wants to brush their teeth with ice cream? Yeah, exactly.
No, you definitely get strict with the kids, but you're definitely like your energy is more fun than mine because you're only with them for shorter periods. I mean, when you are here, you're here for longer periods. I feel like by the end, you're like, this is exhausting. But you are here for shorter periods of time when it comes to me. So like you maximize it and you want to be friends and you want to play. Where for me, it's like I'm trying to raise these humans to like be somewhat constructive and like giving in this world.
No, 100%. This episode is all about how much fun I get to have with kids because being a parent is so hard. And you are so right. When I get to come into town for a week or two, it's just that. It's just that. And, we try to make the most of every breakfast and every evening. And
yeah, of course.
And all play times and such. But yeah, there's this like balance though. I think that I don't know that you and I have ever even had this conversation. So this is really nice to have here. But, there's a balance that I bring to it where like I definitely try to watch and respect the parenting styles because I don't want to overstep my boundaries. I think it's weird. But then also like, because they are really close to me and we spend a lot of time together when we are together, there are moments where like you kind of have to put your foot down and guide them a little bit. But
yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Cause I mean, you and I were raised the same. So if you come into my house and start like yelling at my children, like it wouldn't bother me at all. Like even my mom sometimes will be like, you can tell she's a little bit like, can I? And I'm like, you did it to me. I don't care. Do it with your grandkids. Like, take care of it, you know? So in my household, I'm very like, as long as you're not like being disrespectful to the kids and like beating them, although, uh, but I just, I think that if you see something that they're doing wrong and you didn't say something, I'd probably be more annoyed. If that makes sense.
I never thought of it that way, to be honest. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't. It's everything's a balance, and I think like
Yes.
children and the relationship with children, regardless of what your relationship to them is all about balance, right? Like you want them to make enough mistakes to learn on their own, but you also don't want to like have to go to the hospital today, um, or have to wash out their mouths with soap or whatever the case may be, which we don't do. Keep their language and keep their thoughts in a good, healthy place. But yeah, there's some times where, Oliver for his birthday, we had spoiled him
Mm,
so much and it was a lot going on. And I can only imagine what was going on in his little body. He was excited. And when that excitement started to crash and we were leaving,
yeah.
that's like, the worst thing. And I was really trying to like console, but then there was a moment where I was like, okay, Oliver, enough, dude. Like you went bowling, we played all the games. There wasn't a no for the last, 8 hours, and my bank account reflects
Right.
that. So let's just like mucho like, let's come back to the team here, But
Uh-huh.
yeah, I agree. I agree that there's, that's nice to hear though, that like what you said about it, giving somebody permission to say, hey, if you weren't doing it, like I'd be concerned.
But I agree with you because obviously I'm on the flip side as well, where I'm also an uncle. So it also, you want to be respectful of people's parenting styles to your point, because everyone does parent differently. And even though I'm giving you permission to yell at my kids if they are out of line, some parents actually may not give you that permission. So, I agree that you kind of have to know the person or the parent that you're with if you're gonna do any sort of stepping in to help parent. Uh, but yeah, it's a little frustrating. I also think it's funny because when I become an uncle, within seconds, right, I'll show up to like my brother's house or my brother-in-law's house, and instantly the fun switch turns on. Like, do you want to be the fun uncle? But then Kenzie and Ollie might do the exact same thing, and I'll be like, no, you can't do that, right? So like, I'm like half dad, half uncle energy, and I'm like switching on and off, and it's a lot of work now that I think about it.
I actually never thought about that either, right? Playing both
Yeah,
roles because I only play one, um, and not on TV. And uncle in real life, not a dad. And so I don't get to have that switch. So that's interesting. And then also being watched while uncling other children and then fathering your own, right? Like they all have to have the same
yeah.
sort of like umbrella set of rules.
Well, the biggest thing is sugar. So I remember when Kenzie was little, like baby, our niece and nephew came over. It was around the holidays, and we were giving our niece all the candy canes in the world. Right? Kenzie was a baby, so like we weren't. No one was able to do that to her. We were spoiling our niece, and she had like probably 5 or 6 candy canes. And then we snuck some in her bag to go home, and our sister in law was literally like, "Thanks, I have to deal with this all the way home." We're like, "But we're the fun uncles," and she's like, "I will get you back." And it's so true. Like I don't want to do it to my kid, but I had so much fun doing it to her kid, and that's just the dynamic. And uncle energy is better and more fun.
Well, Mel, if you're listening, you can get them back.
She already has,
I'm
and
sure
she's
she
noted it.
is.
Because now her kids are older and say yes or no to things, get whatever they want. Our kids are just like, give us a bag of sugar, we're gonna eat it. And she's like, here's some sugar. How funny. I have some. But yeah.
I do like to play with food with the kids in terms of like giving them sweets and sneaking them something like here or there. There have been a few times when you and Adam have said no to something, and I've been like, okay, guys, just one, um, just because like that reaffirms our relationship, and again, it's like maximizing the time. But you know, outside of just like the sweet and sugary goodness and being gay and glittery and sarcasm, like I do also like to think that I give them like, you know, pretty good affirming life advice. And I try to be there for them emotionally as little growing human beings too, not just always trying to say no, but trying to understand where their little hearts are coming from.
I agree. I also think it like when you do come up here, you maximize your time. And these are the things that help them with like memories and stuff, right? And we have these as growing up with like our uncles and our extended family and some memories, I'll just say. But, you know, I think that's what you're also doing is you're solidifying yourself in their psyche of like, this is someone I trust, this is someone that I love. And, you know, it's more it's like it's actual family, not just someone who's, you know, by blood or by family tree.
Yeah, and that's what I'm really trying to do too, is really build that relationship, personally, right? So that, when we're together, I try to lean into their interests and their curiosities. Some of all these interests, for example, lean a little bit more towards the heteronormative side of the world, where it's
Oh
like
my gosh.
action figure and very boy centric stuff, which I can get down with. I'm totally fine with. It doesn't scare me. And I just like, I kind of get a little bit scared that he doesn't think I'm cool already. I feel that dynamic happening already.
Yeah.
Like, it's like my own personal shame. Whereas like Kenzie's like, do my hair. I'm like, girl, let's go. Come on. What do you need?
Yeah.
We'll put it out. I made her wear a cape as like a over skirt thing. And like the dads are like, what's that, Kenzie? I'm like, oh, we were just playing fashion. Like,
Playing Couture.
we're playing couture.
Uh That's so fun. Well, I also think that you should be investing in my children because at some point in life, Kenzie's going to make a decision to put me in a home or not. And it's important for her to know that I want to go to the same home as you. So it's just better that they manage both of our, you know, end of life care together. So that way we're at least in the same place. But I
I'm
think
really
that's
glad you
also a
bring
long
this
term
up.
investment.
This is putting a lot on your children. I don't think they like realize that we're gonna have three fathers, but hey, I'm here for it.
Right.
I will always answer. I will always satisfy your Venmo requests, Kenzie. Just send them on through, honey. Approved, approved. Let's watch RuPaul and make pancakes for dinner. I got you, girl. Oh my
All of it,
gosh.
all of it. But aren't they right? Like you want your kids to know like in a world at some point, maybe let's say both our dads are gone and our moms are older and by themselves. I would think they'd want to be together than by themselves. And you and I know that because we were raised to know that. I feel like your kids should be raised to know who they want to be around, who we want to be around as we get older.
Yeah, I
Because
agree. I think it's a cute.
yeah,
What were you gonna finish it off with? Because mine was gonna be pretty morbid.
they no, mine was too. That's why I stopped because I was like, and even though it's dark, but it's also like you hear so many stories about people who just their kids stop visiting them, and or like it's I don't want to be alone like that. So like, yeah, kids, you should invest in them because they're gonna help you have a nice last dinner.
Honestly, and to answer your last question about our moms, like if our
Yeah,
dads go first, I'm tying them together so that they're in one spot. I'm gonna put an air tag on that and then just like visit it every once a month.
padded walls, all of it.
I'm just kidding. No, I would think that they would do really well in like a really comfortable, beautiful home at activities and all these things. But this is why it's important to be good to the younger generations of your family, because they will be the ones who will be like, nah, just take the trust and let them rot.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to upgrade them to a better room? Nope, they're good.
You can add Reese's Pieces on their bed night. No, no, we're just
Nope, for
the
500
more
bucks or more, they're gonna
basic.
have their own room. Yeah, exactly. Nope, here's a sleeping bag. Doesn't really matter where you put them.
Is there any way we could? Is that the cheapest option you have?
Is there anything cheaper?
Oh my
I,
goodness gracious!
I know. It's actually like, yeah, I don't know. I think I also invest in my nieces and nephews because you just never know. I also love them, which is why I invest in them. But you never know, like
You
what
led
how
with
the
never. You led
dynamics of
with
the
never
family.
know first.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know. Um, but I think to your point, it's so important to invest in the younger generation. Obviously, so they have a fruitful long life as well. But you know, it's passing the torch on and making sure that they carry your legacy, but also make sure that you have a comfortable life towards the end. And that's not why I had kids, but I think it's a plus if I do it right.
I also, yes, doubling down on all of that because you just made me think about like how exciting it's gonna be, when Kenzie, Ollie, the kids, all the other kids get older, and we are able to share stories about us growing up and having have built all of these like relationships, and it'll just help them like absorb the stories more as opposed to like because they're important to us, right? The stories, and so, and I mean what I mean to say by that is that like imagine that uncle that you have that you don't really like. I think we've talked about him on this pod before, but like you just don't listen to them. You want to run away from them.
Mm.
Like you want not to associate with them. They actually like symbolize like the weird character in the book that the family member in the book that has like weird hair coming out of their face or like comes at you looking like a monster. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be that for my nieces and nephews either. So it's
Right.
important to me that like the relationships that we build now, ladder up to something later on that like ties back even back to our childhood where we can share our stories and that they care and that they care,
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. Because also, like, if you think about this, and both get more and more, they're the last. How many generations after them will remember us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like, none of us are likely going to be like celebrities that are legacies that live on forever, like a Betty White who should live on forever. But at the end of the day, like, if someone asked you and I to name our great grandparents or even great grandparents, I wouldn't know. And that's really sad because they lived a full life. They have a legacy. When they were on this earth, they went through the same emotions and feelings that I'm sure you and I have on a day to day, and just the stresses of life, making money, etc. And now they're not even thought of anymore. And so, regardless of like dad, uncle energy and stuff, I think it's all around just building these memories, creating these memories, so these kids can hopefully pass the story down and down. So, like, your legacy has some sort of long-standing, I don't know, thing versus getting lost in the shuffle and being someone's project 200 years from now. And they have to build a family tree for their kindergarten class.
Listen, we're creating the cheat sheet then because this podcast is going to be a great way
Oh, true.
for us to live on. I think that like putting things down in the digital universe, I mean, if we don't explode the world first, but that would be really mean. Please don't explode the world because this podcast will get destroyed.
It's fine. We're in the cloud.
Well, we're going to be in the clouds, but um yeah, it's fun though, getting to be like the character in these humans' lives, regardless of their, how often it is. And, you know,
Yeah.
it could either be swooping in a few times a year. It could be just like coming in just to disrupt the family dynamic in the best way you want to, and then vanish with a good see you later. It's just fun. It's so fun. And I love your kids so much. I actually can't wait to see them again. I will catch you offline, but I definitely wanted to ask you about coming back up again this summer, so we'll talk about that. Um, but yeah, I love your children very much, and they make me feel the most uncle-y, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're also very close to them too. Because you put the time and the energy into.
Yeah.
But I think it just brings up an interesting point that we started the whole thing with like uncle energy versus dad energy. And I think the best energy, regardless of dad or uncle, is to, regardless of what status you are with these children, is we're all chipping in to help raise humans, right? And
Yeah.
so I think there needs to be a balance of fun and like parental, regardless if you're dad or uncle, because I think it's important to just realize if something is wrong. Like, I've been with kids before, even if they're not my niece or nephew, just other kids, and if something's wrong, I will correct them. That wasn't nice, and I will empower myself to correct kids that way, at least at bare minimum. I'm not going to overstep parenting. I'm not going to punish anyone, but I will call out if something's wrong. And I think it's a good balance, regardless of whether you're dad or an uncle.
And what I actually just came to, and I think it's a great way to wrap us up today, if you don't mind, is and I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'll let you send us off, but our dads being brothers and how close they were to
Mm,
raising us. I almost feel like I get to have that now, that experience lived through with you and your kids, and
yeah,
so it's kind of fun to think about that. And that's sort of our story, and now we get to make that story for the next generation. So, yeah, that makes me feel nice.
I agree. It actually I never thought about it that way. We're like the next generation of our dads. What they did. Um, but they were more fun than parent, I would say.
Yeah, they were
We
a
don't have
lot
to
of
open up that
fun.
can of worms. But they were definitely more on the fun energy side. But yeah, I love it. Stay positive, be a good uncle, come and visit the kids, yell at them for me. That would be very much welcomed.
I can't wait. I'm sending them candy canes in the mail as we speak. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
This was Out Loud and Laughing.
We're available everywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeart, or wherever.